Welcome to I Have Issues, a comic book show where I talk about comic book related subjects that either piss me off or annoy me to some degree. For today's episode, let's talk about something that was in no way meant for someone like me.
Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld is a comic that was published by DC Comics back in the 1980s. It followed a teenage superhero named Amy Winston who discovers that she's the orphan princess of a magical land called Gemworld and has to travel to Gemworld to overthrow its evil ruler. I pulled that description right off the Wikipedia page because I have never read this comic, and if you can't tell by the premise and the artwork, it really wasn't meant for someone like me. But I did read the New 52 reboot, and that's what I want to talk about. If you don't remember what that is, the New 52 was DC Comics' Universal reboot back in 2011. A bunch of time shenanigans happened thanks to the actions of the Flash Barry Allen, a fact that surprises nobody if you've watched the Flash TV show. And by the end it was all fixed and the reboot was in place. The way it's been described to me, because I don't read everything, the New 52 took out about 10 years of canon for the characters. Superheroes had been active for about 5 years, with the exception of Batman being around 10 years to account for the multiple Robins in his stories. Amethyst was one of the comics rebooted as part of the Sword of Sorcery anthology. Normally, I wouldn't have read this book. Looking at the cover, it doesn't really seem to have anything I look for in a comic, namely a character that I recognize. But I was listening to another comic book review show that mentioned it and made it sound interesting. They described it as a mix of Game of Thrones and Steven Universe, basically a Game of Thrones style medieval fantasy series about characters with gemstone-based superpowers. The plot revolves around another version of Amy Winston, or Princess Amaya as she was revealed to be, trying to take back control of her family's royal house, leading to who her parents were before running away to Earth and why they hid there, and trying to gather political allies to help them take back House Amethyst from Amaya's aunt. We get introduced to a few other houses like House Diamond, which consists of a bloodthirsty family infighting, with one exception so you know he's important, and House Onyx, a house wielding shadow magic and is known for training the world's greatest assassins. There's a lot more to the world and the story overall, so I would say pick it up. Honestly, it's a very enjoyable series, and that makes it all the shittier that it was cancelled. The comic ended after the first 2 story arcs, I'm assuming due to a low reader count. Amaya did stay around a bit longer, appearing in the Justice League Dark series, but I never read that, and I don't really plan to at this point. And that's part of my complaint, but only part of it. It sucks that this interesting version of the story ended, but at least Amaya did come back. Remember, the New 52 wasn't the only DC Comics reboot that happened this decade. We also had DC Rebirth, and that brought Amaya back in a different team book, and that is what actually convinced me to make this episode. To talk about what bugs me, I want to show you something. Here's an image from the New 52 version. It's bright, it's colorful, and has a very nice art style. And here is the Rebirth version. It's dark, depressing, and honestly, it just looks like shit. They took a good idea that probably had more readers than they realized and seemingly made it into something you'd probably expect from the DC Cinematic Universe. Now don't get me wrong, aside from this image and a few other things I've looked up, I've never read the book this panel comes from, but I complain because this problem is twofold. They cancelled something that I found to be very interesting and instead created something that looks incredibly generic and boring, and that to me is a shame. I wanted to see where the New 52 version was going to end, where all the houses were going to end up, what allies and enemies Amaya and her family were going to have, and why other houses still had to be introduced, but that's never going to happen now. I'd be happy to be proven wrong here, but I don't think I will be. All that being said, I do recommend the version in Sword of Sorcery at the very least, just to see what could have been.
And that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have yourselves a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.